Hey guys, Mark W. Flockhart, and I just got done finishing a YouTube video for one of my insurance channels. I thought I'd make a quick video because it just kind of hit me. One of the things that I've struggled with in the past as far as sales pitches and selling insurance. And a lot of you may be watching all these videos online where they're like, oh, here's what you say in the beginning, here's the script that you need. And yes, those are powerful and important, especially if you don't know what you're doing. But if you're not cold calling or you're not dialing leads, honestly, that talk path is a lot less needed. It's still good to have kind of written down like what you need for a quote. I've created my own form that basically allows the customer to choose what they answer and answer as much as information as I need. I've kind of tweaked it over the years and it's been very helpful, which is kind of cool. So that kind of eliminates a lot of those questions that I personally have to have as far as the data. The biggest thing to focus on is connecting with the person. The intro, the beginning of a call, sure, getting someone to open up is a tough thing. But the thing that I noticed that's the most important is connecting, but also having patience. I used to sell a crud ton, and I'm probably $1 million plus a year when I was working at Farmers. So there was a lot of business, and it was, the reason I say I don't know exactly because it was on policy count. And then the year they went to premium, I think I was 900 and some odd thousand for that year. So a lot of selling there. But a lot of that was there was so many numbers coming at you, so many people, you had 20, 30, 40 phone calls a day. If you're quoting 30 to 40 people a day, you learn the script quick. You learn the style quick. You're almost kind of not necessarily order taking because honestly, I would say 90% of that call center, that company that was selling couldn't make a sale most of the time. They were about 60% less sales than everybody else. So what was different? A lot of it had to do with understanding the person, having the patience, getting them to kind of follow a talk path that you get used to. I still recommend that you create some sort of foundational script so you have essentially the way to talk to somebody. One of the things that I recently did was I actually started going back and selling the last couple years, and it's been powerful to see the difference between having to come back up with that type of sales path. Because when you sell based on value versus based on a price, those are two different talk paths. You're still collecting the same information. You're just going quicker with one and less rapport than you are building that relationship and trying to actually insure somebody correctly. Obviously, the value one's a lot better, but it doesn't take the people away that only care about the price. Not necessarily the fit for an agency in most cases, but you still need those clients. They're there, they're good clients. They could stay with you for 5 years. They just tend to be a little bit more direct with things. So starting off a conversation, honestly, one of the things that they teach you not to do, which I've actually found a ton of success with the type of leads that we work. We buy actually decent leads and their information's correct. They filled out the quote, but they're still bombarded with phone calls and they're shared leads. And it's just a tough way to talk to them. Essentially, someone answers the phone and I just say their name. Hi, Linda. This is Mark over at Valor Insurance. That's the company we use. And I was just calling based on the insurance quote you had filled out. I figured it'd be easier to give you a call. Do you have a second right now? And you're not supposed to say the yes or no questions. You're supposed to leave it open-ended. Hey, Linda, I just wanted to verify some of the information. I have your address, da-da-da-da-da, okay? And what has you looking for insurance? I get that. That's a more powerful way to say it, and that's great. But if it's not your style and it's not like your personality, then you're going to find yourself struggling to learn that and to get good at it. If you can adapt to that, by all means, go that route. Become that person. But if it's not you showing who you are, I only want to work with the people that are interested. So just like you see Jordan Belfort sell me this pen, a lot of people don't realize that, I gotta have a pen for examples, sell me this pen. The whole point of that video, most people don't realize, was not to pitch the pen. The point of the video was to find the people that were interested in the pen. Because if you had zero interest in a pen, what's the point in selling it to you? Hey, I got this new pen. Are you in the market for a pen? No. Okay, thanks. Hey, I got this pen. Are you in the market for a pen? No. Okay. Like me trying to convince you that's a great pen, and if it's a $20 pen, I'm all by price. So now I've lost that battle. Anyways, going back to that, it's learning your style and figuring it out. There are a ton of scripts, and I've tried to learn some of them and do different ways. But once you've kind of found what fits you and your personality, it works really well. I actually use that style when I do my dials, and it's completely contradictory to what I even taught and what a lot of people teach, because yes, the other way is better to get them to open up, to get them to talk. We're not asking if they filled out the quote. We know they did. At least they showed interest. Technically, Facebook and all these companies have all their data, and they just click a button and it just throws the data into the quote, sends it to the agent, and then that's how most of the data gets transferred. Nowadays, not a lot of people actually physically fill out the quotes. In case you were curious why it's so difficult, that's why, is because they made it so simple for the customer to fill out. Some of the times they just click the button out of curiosity, or they just quickly fill something out of curiosity, and they don't have a huge interest level. That's the same thing we're going back to. Are you interested in this insurance or this pen? That being said, my typical talk path is, hey, customer, this is Mark over at X Insurance. I was just calling to let you know I have that quote ready for you. Is now a good time? Almost 100% of the time, I've gotten a yes. Because I duplicated what our lead system does, is we're duplicating the ease of use. It's ready. Let's go over it. And then I literally just go over the whole thing with them. Oh, great. I show this as your address just to confirm. Great. I have you as the only driver, but I have you listed as married. Are you married? Yeah. Oh, let me get your spouse's name. Oh, what's their date of birth? Great. Any tickets, any claims? And I follow through that talk path with that customer to get all the data and be like, okay, great. You know, what has you shopping for insurance? Oh, I just clicked the button. I was just curious on the price. Okay. Have you been pretty happy with your current one? Let's dive in. Let's find a reason for us to talk before we talk about price. Because now we've just created a whole slew of information that doesn't mean anything unless they actually have some sort of interest. We're just feeling that curiosity. And once we feel that curiosity, they're done. They don't need any more answers. You could be $500 cheaper, and half of the time, they're not even going to want to go forward. I know I'm talking fast. I got an energy drink. Like I said, this is more of speaking out what I'm thinking and my thoughts, and just kind of giving you guys the advice that I have. These are some of the things that I struggled with when I was new. And I see a lot of customers or a lot of agents struggle with this. You've got to help and determine what type of agent you are. Are you one that can hunt? Are you one that can work leads? Or are you one that just needs to go find your own business, work with friends, work with families, build a referral base? Because not everybody can hunt. That's the thing. And if you can't hunt, or you can't do that type of system, one, are you in the right company? But two, figure out what makes you successful. So in most cases, when I've trained other agents, even at companies I've worked for, is I would tell them, you have to do one of two things. You either A, have to be really good at selling and convert high. And in our industry, high is 10 to 25%, right? Go higher than that, then great. They're doing better than most people. So if you don't convert at a 25% or higher, then you need to take more volume. You need more people to talk to. And if you ever watch any of the videos on YouTube where they teach you all this talking and here's all this, here's the path, here's my written down. That's why I'm not on a whiteboard right now. By the way, for those of you that asked, I do have a whiteboard. I just don't ever use it back here. I nailed it, or I screwed it into my wall. So I will eventually use that instead of this little guy down here. It's just easier to hold. Anyways, like I said, a lot of these YouTubers online or these trainers online, look at the volume that they're doing. For example, we do about 8 leads a day because they cost $6, $8, $10, whatever the cost is. So you got to have the finances to afford the successes, right? And we're actually profitable with the leads year one, which is unheard of. Most places and most companies, they deal with hundreds of leads a day per person. So what you typically see is someone says, I'm making $8,000 a month. And you look at the volume that they're doing, they're buying 4,000 leads a month, which is just out there. Yes, they're getting a better deal because they're buying a larger quantity. But if you're like me and most companies, you can't afford or you don't have the budget at this point. If you're new, you've got to build that renewal base up to where you can actually get that income to pay more of that. If you're really smart, what you're going to do is you're going to reinvest part of the profits back into buying more leads and more of the profits back in to do more marketing. Because getting somebody to come to you and getting somebody to call you is a completely different way of doing insurance than you chasing after the business. And I mean chasing, because you call somebody, you've got one shot 90% of the time. You get off that phone and there's no value created, they're never going to answer the phone again. They have 4, 5, 6, 7 people calling them at the same time as you. I just wanted to kind of put that out there because I know a lot of these videos are out there and they're like, oh, the first 3 seconds or first 20 seconds of a call and how to do the best call. Just create a dial pattern. Do a nice enough volume, adjust it. If you can make your personality fit with that non-open-ended question personality, best way to do it. 100%. I don't disagree with what they say. I taught it that way for years, but not everybody is that type of person. Don't just roll over and think that I can just not do it. That I cannot do it that way because that's my personality. Try it. Do it for a month. Figure out a way or a talk path that works and see how it succeeds and how it fails. If you just find yourself talking and you sound like a robot, there's no point in doing it. That's just useless. What I found was even through that dial pattern, the patience overpowers everything. Hey, Jason, this is blah, blah, blah at so-and-so insurance. I was just calling because I have that quote ready. I just want to know if you had a minute to go over it. Oh, I didn't do an insurance quote. What's the deal? Oh, no, I have here, down at this address and this car. Was that what you filled out? You'd be surprised how many people say yes. You just kind of let them talk if they disagree with it. And actually, most of the time, that's not what they say, but it does. And having that patience and that willing to let them speak out, it's not about trying to fight them for that conversation. They're either going to be interested in the pen or not. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Am I crazy? Is this like, this should never be on the internet and you're killing all the salespeople's talk paths? Mark, you're a horrible person. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. Or did you struggle with this too? If you are someone that did and succeeded and found a different route that wasn't necessarily what everybody says to do, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about that and just kind of reiterate that it doesn't have to be the perfect step 1, step 2, step 3 process that most of these agents are telling you to do. Are they good processes? We agree with that. But is it the only way to do insurance sales? Let me know. I'd love to hear your comments. If you got other questions, shoot them in the description below. Otherwise, I'm Mark W. Flockhart. I'll see you soon.